stream,
Mm-hmm.
working with the 4 other member states to design a just energy transition skills development system that would
Okay.
serve all 5 member states, and now including the new members that are joining BRICS.
Hey, wow. Ah, they something also International Energy Agency. What's
Yes.
that?
This
Hmm.
was in France, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a
Was
round
it in person or
in
virtual?
person. This was
Okay.
in person. I
Mm-hmm.
was in Paris for 24 hours literally, and
Yes.
had to go to another trip. But this
Mm-hmm.
was a round table on how can we decarbonize electricity systems without the internet. And it was looking at the internet of energy and the state of
Okay.
readiness for different markets and the technologies and innovations that were coming up to
Mm-hmm.
that were emerging, rather, I think that's a better phrase to use,
Mm-hmm.
that enable utilities to advance decarbonization. And my perspectives and contributions were around the state of electricity and
Mm-hmm.
electricity scarcity on the continent, and the
Mm-hmm.
state of readiness for African utilities to embrace emerging technologies that are
Mm-hmm.
actually suitable for markets that are fully electrified. So it was quite
Wow.
an interesting debate and interesting contributions from different parts of the world.
I can imagine that. Then you went to my favorite country, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. What was
Correct.
happening here? Hmm.
So Ethiopian
Hmm.
Women in Energy are an
Hmm.
associate organization to
Okay.
AWEP. We
Okay.
both have similar goals, advancing the participation of women as professionals,
Mhm.
as researchers, as policy architects, as entrepreneurs in the energy ecosystem. And they were having an award ceremony. I was invited as a keynote speaker. And
Mhm.
we had an interest to meet the founders of the organization and their partners in person
Mhm.
to solidify our
Mhm.
relationship with East African women in energy.
Wow. Let me see if I have. Oh, okay. So I think this was the last one that I picked. What was happening here?
So this was a beautiful event organized
Mhm.
at the JSE in South Africa, Sandton City. It was
Mhm.
organized by International Women's Forum, and they
Mhm.
were launching what is called the catalytic strategy, driving women's economic and social justice. And
Mhm.
they were recognizing organizations and individuals that have done profound work in
Yeah.
advancing social justice and
Mhm.
economic empowerment in South Africa.
Okay, that is all that I picked. But before we end our talk, because I know that you have received a lot of accolades, you have received a lot of recognition, awards. I don't think it will be fair for me to finish the show without really asking you to tell us some of the recognition that we have received in the past, and what does it mean for you to receive those accolades.
You know, the one accolade that stands out in
Mm,
my career so far
mm,
was being awarded the Women in Energy award, or being recognized by the South African SAIA. It's the South
yeah,
African Electric Institute. I think
yeah, yeah,
I'm
something
misquoting
like
them
that.
now after everything
That's
I've said.
fine. That's
But
fine. Yeah.
to receive that award
Mhm,
was such a privilege and such an honor
mhm,
as a non-engineer for an engineering institute
yeah.
to recognize the work you are doing to
Mhm,
support um, women professionals and young
mhm,
professionals in energy,
mhm,
and entrepreneurs in energy, to recognize the personal commitment
mhm,
and the fortitude
mhm,
um, to proceed and to continue to do the work under very difficult circumstances. That for me, that day, I it gave me confidence. It said I was doing the right thing.
And it probably told you that you are good enough.
It said I am good enough for sure. I stood amongst geniuses, amongst engineers who applauded the work that I was doing, and for them to recognize it in the way that they did, it was something special.
You are a genius. Just standing here, listening to your story, how articulate you are, how you master, the things that you're talking about. I always say I'm a teacher by profession, huh? So I always say to people, there is a difference between somebody who talks about what they have done versus somebody who talks about what they have read about. Yeah. You're not talking theory, you're talking practice. I can feel it, even how you articulate it. It's something that runs in your blood or something that runs in your vein. I'm so, so, so proud of you and everything that you're doing. Now, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years or so?
I have, when I was doing my MBA with UCT, 30% of the degree focuses on personal mastery and personal leadership. They give you the tools to open you up, break you apart, and they give you the tools to pull yourself together. One thing that I have learned is to plan for realistic milestones while opening myself up to the unknown unfolding of life. And so in the next while, I wish to extend the chapters that AWE pairs on the continent from 22 to all 54. I wish the country chapters to have entities that would attract support from global players. I wish for us to design commercially viable programs that truly embed women at the center of the energy ecosystem in Africa, where infrastructure development is taking place, where operational technology is taking place, where innovation, digital innovation is taking place, where energy transition energy transition solutions are designed for Africa by Africans, considering the requirements we have to industrialize and pull our people out of unemployment, out of poverty, to levels of income, personal household income, that are comparable to the first worlds. And I hope to have made some contribution in that trajectory that are notable, and the impact is felt, is tangible, is recorded, and can be seen. That's what I hope to achieve. I certainly want to be a present mom, to experience all of my son's milestones. I wish to be a great sister to my sister and a loving daughter to my mom.
Wow. Wow. That is so, so profound. So your son is the only man in the household, it seems.
He's the king.
Yes, he's the king. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so you spoke about, you really want to expand, to all the 54, African countries. How many do you have, physical presence, in terms of your network? You said 22. Where about is it the countries in Southern Africa, or where are they?
Yes, it's Southern Africa, it's East Africa, Central Africa,
Okay.
a little bit on the West Coast, and North Africa. So we've got Tunisia and Morocco that has just joined, and we're hoping to secure Algeria and Libya in the coming months.
Okay, and you are so well traveled. How many countries, if you are counting at all, how many countries have you been to so far?
Oh, that's difficult. That's difficult to count. So let me tell you where I have not been. I think that will be
Yeah,
easier.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I am still very curious about South America. I would still like
Mm,
to travel
mhm,
into South America, into the Caribbeans for sure.
yeah.
I would
Mhm,
like to visit Canada. I would love
mm,
to do some of the North European
your
countries.
countries, yeah.
Um, I really would love to travel and see Russia
Yeah,
and quite a number of places in China, the hidden places.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I would love to go to Australia and New Zealand and some
Okay.
of the islands in the Pacific Ocean.
In the
So
Pacific Oceans, yeah.
there. And I still have
Wow.
a lot of more countries to cover on the continent. Yes.
Yes, yes. Wow. Thank you so much. We still have another 5 minutes to go. So now, if there's somebody, a young person who's listening, who's feeling very inspired about our talk, or maybe it's a woman or whoever who's listening, where can they find you if they
So
need, to get in touch with you?
yes.
Mm,
I would advise anybody who would like to have conversations. We have 15-minute conversations, 30-minute conversations, and hours conversation. Depending on your needs, we can design a package for you.
mm,
Visit Rito Personal Mastery. So visit Rito Group and go to
mhm,
the Personal Mastery website. Anybody
mhm,
who would like me to deliver a motivational talk, a
mm,
facilitation, also
mm,
visit the site for moderation,
mm,
facilitation,
mm,
and being a discussant in energy issues and gender
mm,
mainstreaming on the continent. Personal
mhm.
mastery is where you can book my time.
Hey, wow. Thank you so much. So we have something on the show which we call the parting shot. So the parting shot, we're giving you the next, 3 minutes to share something that is in your heart, something that we did not manage to touch, something that I was not able to ask, but something that you say, you know what, I want our listeners, to know about this. What is your parting shot?
Wow, I was thinking about that and I want to use a metaphor and I
Mhm.
hope it is relatable.
Yeah.
A Rubik's Cube. You know a Rubik's Cube? It is that
Mhm.
cube that you move around.
Yeah.
It has different colors, and a lot of us,
Mm,
unless you're practiced, find it very difficult to move it around. And I'll tell you why I use a Rubik's Cube. Because
mm,
you're not one person. You cannot be identified by one part of your life. You are
mm,
not your job, you're not your family, you are not your academics, you are not your talents. You are a combination of things. But
mm,
if the mechanics, the inside of the Rubik's Cube are
mm,
broken,
mm,
you can put the Rubik's Cubes
mm,
in a master's hand. He will
mm.
not be able to get the colors right.
Yeah.
And so I want to say to whoever is listening,
Mm,
have the courage to do the inner work. Have the
mm,
courage
mm,
to unravel yourself,
mm,
untangle yourself, discover
mm,
yourself anew. Have the
mm,
courage to read. Have the courage to be challenged. Have the
mm,
courage to hold critical conversations around your weaknesses. Have the
mm,
courage to learn. Have the courage
mm.
to believe it's never too late to grow, to change,
Yeah.
and to
Mhm.
enjoy life.
Wow, I like it. I like it. I like it. You're talking about the inner being. And I think it goes back, to the conversation that we had a little bit about the empowerment and the emancipation, where emancipation really comes from within. And I picked also, I'm taking my notes, I picked also in terms of your personal journey. You spoke a lot about self-learning. So you actually tap into your inner being. It doesn't matter how many people give you opportunities. If you don't work on your being and your ability to harness those opportunities, it doesn't work. And I think this is something that I'm picking from this conversation, but also surely the theme where you are good enough. Thank you so much, for allowing us. I know you are such a busy person and you allow yourself to spend an hour with us. DJ Messi, I think, maybe we might need to invite you some other time because an hour was just not enough to actually tap into everything that you have to share. But ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find her. You go to her social media, you go to her website, the Personal Mastery, you book her space there, you can get her for facilitation, you can actually get her, and not only those who want your facilitation skills, but all your services. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have time for. And at this point, I want to say thank you so much, DJ Messi, for keeping, the boat, floating for us. And I want to thank, my co-host, Mandla AVENTINA MABUNDA, who's not here tonight, and all the African Experience team. Thank you, and thank you so much again. We really appreciate your presence here.
Thank you so much for having me. I was blessed to be on your program and I absolutely enjoyed this conversation. It was a learning for me. It's always a reflection. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa.